All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I like to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. Double honors to the apostle elders, the great millstone, who rule well. And salutations to all you brothers out there pushing this word in love, truth, sincerity, and humility. Once again, it's the brother Shati from the Chicago camp, coming back to you with what I hope is another quick and edifying sit down. Woo! Just when you thought America couldn't get any worse for Edomites. Oh, man. Newsflash. Florida debates lifting child labor laws to fill jobs held by migrants. Let's let this guy speak and we'll get some scripture.
We have some news right now. Florida is now debating possibly lifting child labor laws in an effort to fill jobs that were previously filled by undocumented immigrants. This is kind of one of those F around and find out moments. The Florida legislature is now actively debating a bill that would loosen child labor laws in the state and would allow children as young as 14 years old to work overnight shifts. Right now, teenagers in Florida are not able to work past 11 p.m. or before 6:30 a.m. But this new bill would lift those restrictions even on school days and allow these children to work overnight shifts. And the reason for this is because Florida now has a job shortage problem. And before I continue, TikTok could be banned in 10 days, so if you follow me on my Substack, Instagram, or YouTube, they're all linked in my bio. With Donald Trump's deportations increasing and anti-immigrant rhetoric increasing in the state of Florida, you have more jobs that are being opened up. And now the Florida legislature wants to fill these jobs that have been filled before by undocumented immigrants with young children, thereby loosening child labor laws in the process. I'll do a full breakdown of this and more on my Substack. Follow along for all the news you need to know about. We have some news.
Well, would you look at that? All these Edomites that were complaining that Issachar was stealing all their jobs. Now, things have gotten so bad in Florida that they are manipulating the child labor laws. And guess who they're going to be getting in those fields? Yes, you young Edomite children. You see what your people have gotten you into? They had so many of you all convinced that so-called Mexicans were taking your job and they were a threat to the economy, so get them all out. Well, now since they're all out, for lack of a better phrase, as the man said, there's nobody to work these farms where they are picking watermelons and lettuce, oranges, and many other agricultural products. There's no one there to do it. So the next best thing that they figured out to help this situation is to grab you young Edomites. Oh man, this devil is diabolical. And this is why the scripture says, I think it's in Ecclesiastes 14:5. It says, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. Because many of these Edomites don't realize this has been the plan all along. New Jack slavery, New Jack serfdom, peonism, if I said that correctly. That has been the whole goal, to have a country of dumbed down fully functioning slave labor. That's what this boils down to. Many people did not foresee the ramifications of basically telling 60 to 70% of your workforce that you are no longer welcome here. And because of that, now the agricultural aspect of America is suffering. And this was prophesied in the Bible when you go to Ecclesiastes, what's that, 12? Yep, Ecclesiastes 12:3. It says, "In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few." Okay, how is the grinder cease? Because everybody was very excited about getting Issachar out the country. Remember, they're taking all these good American jobs from the good American people. We got to get them out so we can put our people in. Well, guess what? Now you Edomites got what you asked for, because your asses are going to be up in there picking them watermelons, that lettuce, those carrots. You wanted legislation to get Issachar out? Now you got it. It says, "And those that look out of the windows be darkened." He says, "And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low." Because you got all these folks out here trying to find jobs, but nobody's hiring. You got folks giving out firsthand testimonies on now in this new so-called modern day and age. There's almost like 5 to 8 steps in the hiring process just to get a job that's probably only going to pay you about 60 G's, if that. It says that he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. There's not going to be any whistling while you go to work. How can you whistle and be happy that you're going to work knowing that you've been reduced to a slave? All right. This is why nobody is happy, because they can't find any work. And they see what's going on. The ones that do see, they understand that, damn, these folks are basically trying to implement New Jack slavery. I mean, I can't see how you Edomites are getting mad. This is what you all asked for. What does that scripture say? Let me put on pause and find it real quick. This is Matthew 6:21. "For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." Okay, basically, whatever your mind's desire, that's whatever you're focusing on, that's where your mind is going to be. All right, and America was so focused on getting Issachar out the country because they were taking jobs. All right, they were destroying the border. They were doing all these bad things until one day they wake up and they're just like, well, what's up with this shipment of eggs? What's up with the avocados? What's up with the watermelons? Like, hey, Aren't you supposed to have it? No. You all got rid of my workforce. And to me, I find it very amusing that these Edomites have chosen a path that would affect the food supply and employment, so much so to their own detriment. For now, their own people are devising legislation to change the child labor laws, which I've heard that child labor laws, they can't work before like 6:30 or 7, and they can't work past 11. But basically now they're going to have these children, if it passes, which it probably will, these children will be able to work overnights. Now 14-year-olds can't drive, so who's going to take these children to these places to work? Now you still have adults working at these places. So you got 14-year-olds with adults. Yeah, we gonna leave that alone because that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother sit down. But nonetheless, I hope you all were edified. Till the next time, we're gonna say shalom.